Hey everybody. It's late. It is almost time for me to jump into my pajamas, crawl into my bed, and read my next story. I managed to read 15 books this month. I don't have a lot of books that I feel are very memorable, so I'm not going to go into like a description of these books. So the first book I picked up this month was called Jane Steele by Lindsay Faye. I picked this one up because it was in one of those book recommendation videos from another booktuber. We generally, there we go, have very similar taste in books. And when she was talking about this one, I was like, oh, that sounds really good. Right up my alley. Unfortunately, I was bored out of my mind. I can't even tell you what the book was about now. Because it, to me, didn't, maybe I missed it, I don't know. But the way she was describing it, I didn't pick up when I was reading it, if that makes sense. So I did give this one 2 stars. The next one is a popular book, and I feel like I may be the oddball out here on this one. And that is My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. This was pitched as a Dexter meets Mr. and Miss Smith mashup, and I thought this is going to be so good. If you guys have watched Dexter, you know that it is about this guy who murders bad people that do bad things. So you become sympathetic and you kind of root for the murderer because he's, you know, only murdering bad people. I didn't see how they were comparing the two of my favorite things, and it just kind of fell flat for me. So I did give that one 2 stars as well. The third book I grabbed was another 2-star, and that was One Day in December by Josie Silver. This is about a guy and a girl. They're on 2 separate buses. They see each other through a window. Their buses leave, and for 5 years they are both thinking about each other, wondering who this person is and if they will ever see each other again, kind of like serendipity kind of thing. And then one day this woman's best friend comes in, and guess who her boyfriend is? It just happens to be this guy she's been fantasizing about for 5 years. So of course she has to pretend that she has no idea who this person is, and it's just kind of like this missed opportunity kind of situation. And I hate that trope with a passion, at least how it was done in this book. That I grabbed was Forever My Duke by Olivia Drake. This is book 2 in the Unlikely Duchesses series, and I enjoyed this one. I did give this one 3 stars. I'm not typically a historical romance fan. I think I've kind of pinpointed why I don't really like them much, and that is because it's such a slow burn romance. And I talked to a friend because she really likes historical romance, and she said that typically, yes, historical romance are very much a slow burn. And I am used to like the let's get into the relationship and kind of see where it goes from there kind of reads. And I think that's kind of where I'm struggling with historical romances. But I enjoyed this one. It had an American female who has to travel to England with a little boy whose parents both passed away, and she is trying to get him to the last living relative. She happens to like run into this guy who's like a cousin of his, and they kind of, you know, start having some feelings there. But she's like this, you know, independent, this whole chivalry thing is ridiculous kind of attitude. But they both kind of come together because of this little boy. And I have learned that I really like kind of a single parent based romance, because she's essentially, you know, has grown up with this little boy. She was best friends with his mom. So essentially she's like a second mother to him. And it was just really cute. I enjoyed it. If you like historical romance, I would go read the synopsis on that one and see if maybe it's for you. You're going to notice that I went on a Debbie McComber, I always forget how to say her last name, binge. And this book is what started it. It is the 12 Days of Christmas. I did give this one 4 stars. So this is about a blogger. She is trying to kickstart her blog, get, you know, attention and build views. And she's trying to come up with some sort of idea, and then it hits her. She has this really grouchy Scrooge, Grinch character that lives next door. He's just very standoffish, and she decided for the next 12 days she's going to do nice things for him to see if maybe kindness kills, basically. It was really cute. I enjoyed it. Definitely recommend you stick that on your holiday wish list for next year. I also read All Wrapped Up for the Holidays, little stories from several different authors. I picked it up because Colleen Hoover actually had a story in there based off of 2 of my favorite books, and I really enjoyed several of the stories, but I think I would have enjoyed some of them more had I read the stories that those spin-offs, like those novellas, were based off of. But regardless, you guys aren't going to be able to get your hands on this book anymore, because I think by the time you see this, they no longer have it out. It was like a limited time kind of thing. And Little Bit Country by Debbie McComber. I gave this one 3 stars. I didn't really enjoy this one as much. It was about this like city girl whose car breaks down in like this middle of nowhere country ranch farm area. And this guy, he comes and kind of saves the day, and he's letting her stay at his place until her car gets fixed, because of course the car she has, the parts aren't available in this little teeny tiny town that she's in. And somehow over like a course of a few hours they have fallen in love, and I don't know. I don't do well with super insta-lovey kind of things like that. Never Say Die by Tess Gerritsen. Gave this 2 stars. I don't even remember what this was about. It was some sort of mystery thriller romance that I picked up. But don't really remember too much about it. Then I grabbed The Fix Up by Kendall Ryan. Gave this 3 stars. I don't quite remember a lot of the story. All I remember is that this was like erotica and super duper explicit. So I picked this up in an audiobook at the library, and definitely not one I would have listened to on audiobook because of how descriptive some of those scenes can get. I also grabbed Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, of course. Am I ever not going to pick up a Colleen Hoover book? I gave this one 4 stars. I enjoyed this book. It's dual perspectives. You got the daughter's perspective and you have the mother's perspective. There is a situation that goes down, and you kind of see how the daughter's handling it and how the wife is or the mom's handling it, I should say. And you're the only one that kind of knows what they're both thinking. And then I can't really go into too much detail, but at the end there's a situation that she decides she doesn't want to know any more about. And it drove me nuts because I'm like, okay, fine. If you don't want to know any more about it, that's fine. But at least let me know, the reader, what it is. So we were also left clueless as to the reason for the whole situation. I know, very vague, but I don't want spoilers. Another Debbie McComber book is A Miss Miracle Christmas. This one I gave 5 stars. I loved this one. This is one of the ones that I'm definitely going to recommend that you pick up around Christmas time if you can handle talk about infertility, because that is kind of what this book revolves around. There's this couple who has been trying to conceive, going through IVF, and it's just not happening for them. So they decide to go through the foster care system, and unfortunately for them, the child was, taken from their care and given back to their family. And, they've kind of just written off having children altogether. And then Miss Miracle shows up. She's actually an angel, so this is very religious based. This particular series is. And she shows up because she's there to grant miracles. And her mom is also dealing with Alzheimer's. So that's like the original reason this Miss Miracle Angel has shown up. And I actually listened to this on audiobook. I enjoyed it. I loved it. and I definitely recommend you add it to your like Christmas holiday list for next year. Another Debbie Macomber is Merry and Bright. I gave this one 4 stars. This is about a girl named Mary and a guy named Bright. Somehow they both sign up for this dating website under false names, and they use photos of their pets instead of their actual face. And it's actually Mary's family that signs her up, and then he signs up because, like, bored. He was bored one day. So they start talking, and then she realizes that that is her boss, and she, you know, completely, like, freezes up, and, you know, it kind of goes from there. But he still has no idea who she is. So you kind of have to wait and see till the end, you know, whether or not they get together and if he ever figures it out. The next one that I grabbed, I did not realize this was like a self-help marriage counseling type of book. I didn't pay too much attention to it when I clicked on it. In my library app, I just saw A Marriage Carol, and it was supposed to be like this. You know how in the Scrooge, the ghosts visit him, Christmas past, Christmas future, Christmas present, and, you know, there's this whole story based on that. Well, I thought it was that. It turns out it was like a self-help book for people who are deciding whether or not to go through with a divorce. It's very Christian based. It's by Chris Fabry. I did not rate this one because I don't really know how to rate a self-help book for something that I wasn't considering myself. Then I picked up Pestilence, the 4 Horsemen series 1, like this is the first book in the series, by Laura Thalassa. I hope I'm saying that right. I gave this 4 stars. So this is a thick, long book, but it is about Pestilence the Conqueror. So he is the one that comes and he spreads plague, and he, you know, is here to banish all humans because we have been bad. And of course there's a woman who decides she's going to try to kill Pestilence, and unfortunately it doesn't go as planned because Pestilence cannot be killed, and he decides, you know what, you're going to be my prisoner. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I like that kind of post-apocalyptical kind of background, and then like the 4 Horsemen thing kind of got me. I'm excited to pick up War by her, but I'm kind of waiting because I know if I get to War that I'm going to want to get to the next one, and that's not released yet because War was just released in June, I think, June or July of 2019. So I don't know how long it's going to be before the next one gets out, and I'm the type of person that I kind of want to keep on keeping on if it's one that I really enjoyed. But 4 stars, really good, really enjoyed it. If you don't mind, he's very aggressive, and he's very like, humans are bad, and he doesn't get empathy, I think is a good word. Like he's just very numb to everything. And the last book that I didn't think I was actually going to finish before the month was out, and that is Summer of '69 by Ellen Hilderbrand. I gave this one 3 stars. I enjoyed it, but I went into this thinking it was going to be about Tiger and his kind of fight over in Vietnam, and a little bit about the family itself. And then in the end, I basically didn't get the answers to the questions that I had. I felt like it was just, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't about Tiger as much as I would have wanted it to be. So, yeah, I don't know. I've tried other Ellen Hilderbrand books. I'm maybe thinking she just might not be an author for me. I have one more book that I have on my bookshelf, actually, that I want to read. And if I don't really care for that one, I think I'm just going to move on and probably not pick any more up from that particular author. I probably could have done better on this book review, but it's the last one of the year, so the next one will be better. I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna go to bed. And I'll see you guys next month for our January 2020 book wrap up, which is crazy. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!